Good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel. When you see the narcissist happy, know this. I'm going to talk about this right now. The narc's entire game, as I try to illustrate on here frequently, because because this was really, um, I guess, a big epiphany for me recently. It's something I kind of knew, but it hit me in an all new way very recently, and I've come to understand that the entire deal with the narcissist, whichever one you knew, every single thing that they do in their life, because life's a giant game to them, every single thing in their life is about convincing the world and you and themselves that they are good people, that they're getting it right, that they're upstanding, that it's your fault, and it's their ex's fault, and it's everybody they've ever been with's fault. It's every broken relationship is the other person's fault. It was mom's fault. It was dad's. It was my daughter's. It was my son's. It was my old friend's. It was my ex and X X X X X X X X X. Every single thing about what they do is to convince the world that they are good and themselves. So the narcissist is constantly gaslighting themselves as well. This is part of the delusion, the sickness that they're in. And I'm not going to go into too much detail on this part of it today. But the question of does the narcissist know what they're doing or do they not know what they're doing? And the answer, strangely, to that question, I think, is both. I'm going to cover this on another video. It's both because they do know, on the one hand, that they do tremendous evil and they plot and scheme evil things, and that they're really the cause of blown up relationships, yet they have this alter ego mask that they're going to develop to combat this all the evil and darkness and what many have called, well, some have called, the bad object. You've heard me talk about that before. A collection of condescending, cruel, negative voices, events. That is the truth of the matter, but they're going to develop this older ego persona to combat it. So this is what the world sees, and this is what they portray, just like they portrayed to you and me and everybody else in the beginning. So basically, to summarize, the narc's entire game is to make you think they're getting it right and to make themselves think that as well. So here's the thing, here's how this plays out. Oftentimes, we will see the narcissist, which whoever it is, and it will look, sure as I'm sitting here talking to you, that their life is amazing. Their life is just aces. They're getting it right beyond belief. Everything you thought you were going to get, someone else is now getting. The love, affection, attention that you wanted to get from them, someone else is really actually getting it, like for real. So that's the image that they portray. But here's what occurred to me recently. Do you know what it really means when you see them doing well, when you see them happy? Especially the happier they present themselves to be. What it really means is this: somebody or some people behind closed doors are getting it that much worse. That's right. When you see that person out and about, just walking down the street, walking through the grocery store, on social media, at work, at a family reunion, and they are smiles ear to ear and grins, and oh, life is wonderful for the narcissist, which is the thing they always try to do. The better you see them doing, and I can continue to say better in quotes because I'm going to get to that at the end, and the happier they seem to be, that simply means they have someone or some people in their lives that they're able to just obliterate behind closed doors. So it's directly proportional. So say that they have a real stooge, a real, I hate to say it that way because many of us were in this situation, but I mean somebody who was just willing to put up with absolute chaos, very low boundaries, was fine with cheating, accepted mental or physical abuse like crazy, wasn't going to hold them accountable for anything, at home supply, so entangled that they just couldn't get out of the relationship or wouldn't. I'm talking about that kind of person. They could just constantly. Unfortunately, the narcissist is able to find these people at times. If you see them out in the public, roses and daisies with their game face on and everything is awesome, that means they have one of those pigeons behind closed doors. One of those people who is willing to take all the vitriol, the disgustingness, the nastiness. So I want you to really understand this because it just, like I said, recently occurred to me through seeing the narcissist and other narcissists. And the more you think and the more they're leading on to the world that things are wonderful, they're only able to do that because the abuse they're dishing off to somebody else is propelling them to be able to put that mask on. Just like at the end of the relationship, say it's romantic, they will bludgeon the person they're with, the main source of supply. They'll just they'll just absolutely beat them down to the depths of the earth, and that propels them to be able to go off and put that love bomb phase onto the person they're trying to target. See, there is never a single solitary point in time for the narcissist when they do not have to have someone to decimate. It's not possible. They're never going to have it. This is one of like 3,917 reasons why they always have backup supply because they cannot run out of someone to beat up. They always need someone to abuse without exception. And this, of course, means when you're in a romantic relationship with them, if things are going well, for the most part, they breadcrumb you to keep you on the hook and all of that. That's part of it. But if you have a stage where things are going particularly well with the narcissist, and especially during the love bomb, that means they've got somebody else they're just destroying. So that there's someone else in the mix of your relationship. And as time goes on, the worse they treat you, the better they are treating someone else. You better believe it. Because the narcissist is only able to start really devaluing you and treating you like the scum beneath their feet, like they just don't care at all. If they lose you, if they keep you, makes no difference. The only way a narcissist can get to that level is if they've already got somebody else. They can walk home, they can drive home, walk through that door, and if they're destroying you, they don't care if they lose you. That means they know they have you. And if they're treating you this way, it by default, 100% without exception, without question, means they have someone else they're treating better or trying to rope in. These are the things that we have to understand every time we think the narcissist is happy. Every time we see that facade, that fake grin and smile and laugh, we see them appearing to get it right with somebody else at any point down the road, or that they're happy at work, or they're happy at church, or they're happy at the family reunion, or they're happy. Every time we see that, that just means someone is getting boom. And I kid you not, I believe this is a big part of why any of the narcissists have kids at all, because they don't love their children. Their children are a weight around their leg most of the time. They don't want to lift a finger to really do anything right for that kid most of the time. So why would they have children? A couple of reasons I can think of for sure. One is they're incredibly impulsive. They do not think two steps ahead about anything in a logical way, unless it's to destroy you. But they'll make the most whimsical decisions. They'll do the dumbest things on a whim. One of those would be finding somebody, immediately getting pregnant, charging off into a relationship. They didn't think at all about, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have this kid the rest of my life. That doesn't occur to them because whatever they needed right there in that moment supersedes anything that's going to happen down the road. That's why oftentimes they'll have children because they're infatuated with somebody for a moment, or they need to lock them down, or they think for 2 seconds, I'd really like to have another kid. Okay. Sorry, I bumped my camera. But that's why they do it. But another reason, I kid you not, why they have kids is so they can have a built-in doormat punching bag that they can toss around whenever they don't have a romantic supply in place. Or if things are going well with the romantic supply, they can just beat the kid up. That's why, and I've seen this firsthand. Oftentimes, when you're with a narcissist, if they have a kid or children, they will alternate between beating you and the child up. And I mean this mentally, verbally, mainly, but some of them do it physically. But they'll alternate. Because I remember towards the end of the relationship I was in, and I've seen this happen many other places, if they're not beating up their full-time supply, their main fuel source, their romantic partner, their person, they're not beating them up. They're beating their child up. If they're not beating the child up, they're beating the romantic partner up. Somebody always knows they're going to be getting abused. And it's so sad that the partner and the child, get to a point where they're just kind of happy if they're going after the other person that day. But the bottom line of it is they always have to be going after someone. So when you see them doing well in public, and especially if you see them doing really well, appearing to do really well, understand somebody behind the four walls of a house and under a roof is getting their life blown up to the nth degree. There's no such thing. Please don't think for 1 second that it doesn't work that way. There's never a point, because the narcissist cannot regulate their emotions in any way. They have so much nastiness in them. The only way that they can stay at some kind of neutral level at any point is to vomit that out onto someone else. That's it. Case closed. There's no other way it happens. So when you see them doing well, or they're happy in public, understand somebody's getting torched. Okay? Here's another part of this. When you see them occasionally doing really poorly in public, they can't even put the face on. They can't even put the mask on. Maybe they show up to work and they're buried in their phone and they're panicking and they're up and down and they're away from their desk and they're crying and they're when you see that, understand that they're suffering some sort of major narcissistic injury. Things are not going well. They're losing control of the person that they're beating up day in and day out. If you see them doing really badly in public, this means that they have had a total collapse. One of those various times where they are down in the bottom of the pit. They've probably blown up the most recent relationship. They probably don't have a backup in place that's sufficient or is giving them what they need, or they didn't have them fully groomed before that person left. Because I've seen this one too, firsthand. When I left the narcissist, yes, of course, this person was talking to other men the whole time and having backups and probably cheating, almost assuredly cheating. But what the person didn't have is a built-in person that was ready to just jump right over and monkey branch and take off. Because let's face it, if you're a high quality person like we are, most of us, involved in this community, they don't just find those replacements in a blank. To have a person that's truly kind, loving, wonderful to them, treats them well, is godly, is if they find in any way attractive, you do not just walk out the door and find somebody like that around every corner. Oftentimes, the narcissist does not have that person in place behind you. Oftentimes, they have somebody, something, but not you. And they'll rarely ever find you again, if ever. But they have that person, and they broke away too soon. Narcissists pushed it too far, too quickly, didn't think that you'd wise up, didn't think you or me would actually say, I can't do this anymore. Enough is enough. I'm out of this. They don't think you'll ever do that. They're shocked because they think they have you trapped. They think they have everyone stuck and everyone trapped, and they're smarter than everybody else. And the idea that you are going to actually truly have enough, not one of the 5,000 many breakups, but truly have enough, and you're going to leave, if they don't have that person in place, it is the portrait scream. If you've seen that portrait, the ooh, that's what it is for the narcissist. Sorry for the dramatics, the theatrics, but that's what it is to them. Point is, they've suffered a terrible injury. They've got to be alone to some degree. they've got to think about maybe what they did a little bit. They don't have somebody nearly like you. And what this means is total epic collapse. So to round this out, if you see them really happy in public, really doing well, that means they have a steady supply source that they are destroying behind closed doors and beating that person into the ground anytime they need to. That propels them to be able to the rest of the world and to get backups and to set other people up. That's all that it means. Do not ever think that it means anything different than that. Someone's getting messed up and torched behind closed doors. If you actually see them doing really badly in public, which I have also seen, that means it's all hell is broken loose for the narcissist. Their supply sources are low, they're doing terrible, they're a wreck behind closed doors, and they're a wreck in public. Everything has hit the ground, collapse. This happens over and over and over and over for the narcissist, and some of those injuries are way worse than others. You think how hard it is for us to get over the narcissist? Believe me, if they have a terrible injury, if you really gave them an injury, and they're like, and they know in their heart, I'm not going to find another person like this again. Not like that. I probably just blew up the best person I'm ever going to have, and likely they did. In me and many of you watching this, they don't recover from that. The narcissist is not over their first relationship. They're not over the first person that they were in a relationship with because they never took time. They just went boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom. Better believe they never got over you or me. Not that they care the same ways that we do, but it sticks with them. So if you see them doing well in public, if they're happy, they're destroying people. They've got that built-in fuel source that they can just bludgeon. If you see them doing poorly on the occasions in public, that means their life's a wreck across the board. They're in Humpty Dumpty mode. They're trying to just put all the pieces back together. That's what that means. But know this in conclusion. You've never seen the narcissist happy. That's the title of this video. When you see the narcissist happy, but I put it in quotes, know that they're never happy. The only thing that the narcissist ever gets is that new shiny toy of the love bomb, that person that they think is going to be everything, that new person that fix all. This person's going to be different than the 997 people before them. What a crock. The only time they're ever happy is this very temporary, totally surface level feeling, the surge of emotions that they have a new shiny toy. And that lasts all of about 0.2 seconds. In general, there's no such thing as happiness for the narcissist. And they will never get it right. They're never filled. They're never fulfilled. They're never happy. They're never at peace. They never have joy. They never have contentment. It is not going to happen. So if you guys think, and it's so easy to fall into this, because the show they put on an absolute world-class fiesta for the rest of the world. Okay? And that's why so many people don't know who they are. And that's why you only truly know anyone if you know them behind closed doors. People you work with, you don't know them unless you've known them for a long time and you've seen them in different circumstances, and preferably you've seen them behind closed doors or behind out of the office. That's how you know them. Same way with people at church. Same way with people anywhere. The narcissist is chief among them. No one, and I mean no one, knows the narcissist unless it's been behind closed doors in a more intimate setting. Their game is to convince the world that they've got it right, and themselves. Only behind closed doors do you know the truth about anybody. So when you see the narcissist happy, know that you didn't see them happy, and know that they're only appearing happy. And if they're appearing happy, they have a punching bag built in at home that's taken all their vitriol and all their abuse. That's the only way this happens. So understand those things when you think about, oh man, the narcissist really seems like they got it right. They're thrilled with their life. No, they are not. So I hope this was educational in some way or informative. Continue to drop comments below. I very rarely ever say this, but I have reason to think my videos aren't getting as much exposure as they once did for various reasons. So I just ask, if you like and if you do follow my videos regularly, subscribe to it, because I think a lot of people are not getting to see this that normally would be able to. So anyway, I'm not going to belabor that point. I don't say it often. I appreciate all of you who do follow my work and comment. I hope it's helpful for you. Come at you with another one again soon. Until then, God bless.